Yes, people, welcome back to Premsy TV. Another episode of Premier League Unpacked with my guy Tom. What are you telling me, Tom? You good?
What's good, bro? It's good to be back, man. Big up everybody that's locked in. Big up the people already in the comments. I appreciate we're a few
Yeah.
minutes past 9, but we tried to get online a little bit earlier today. Big up to you. Love that. Yeah, man, I'm good. It was good. I was up in Manchester the other day, so we got to catch up in the flesh again and talk more football and stuff. So feels good to be back on the stream and ready to push on with a interesting weekend of results. To be honest with you,
To be
I
fair,
don't know
there
where you
was
want
a
to start.
few interesting ones. I think we'll have to start with Arsenal shortly.
Gotta
But I
start
must
with that.
say, it was brilliant catching up with you, Tom. For the people that
Always.
are watching and don't know, obviously, Tom moved over to London. He's had a lovely child, he's got a partner, and settled down over there. So we don't get to see each other in the flesh as much. But he came down and we managed to spend some time together. But so it was good. I enjoyed myself. We're gonna have to definitely catch up and start doing some podcasts together as well, people. So watch out for that soon. But we're gonna
100%.
have to start with Arsenal, Tom. Man, I've had no.
Let's
Oh,
go.
we got the United comments already in it because I posted on Instagram when Leeds came back 2-2.
Yeah.
That's it now. But inbox are getting
Yeah.
hammered. I'm telling you, United fans on me. But yeah,
Yeah.
obviously going back to Arsenal, Tom. Obviously, I've not really given my thoughts up on the game because I've been so busy over the last couple of days. I managed to watch the game, streamed it and all that, but I couldn't really give my thoughts on the game or stuff like that. But you know what? I must say, we played well. Like after a long time, I've seen Arsenal actually play with some ascendancy, something that I've been asking for a while. I think Martin Odegaard played very well. I think the problem is we just can't finish, and that's just down to having a clinical striker. Lacazette again, yeah, he can only give you so much, in my opinion, now because you're never really getting full games out of him. He's not clinical enough, and I think the problem is for me is that we didn't sign anyone in January and now it's starting to tell. Even though we won, I'm happy with the result, happy with the performance. This is the performance we need to see, but we were actually creating chances in that game. And if we did have a clinical striker, we should be putting
Be
some of
feeling
the
more.
chances away. Yeah. And
Yeah.
maybe a clinical striker would help us create them clear cut chances by opening up the space, running in behind, something that Lacazette's not really doing. But I can't really take nothing away from Arteta, the boys, everyone put a good shift in and it was a good performance. But I saying all that, I expect us to be beating a Brentford. You know what I mean, Tom? I expect it. But over this season, we've not really been seeing us beat them teams that we should be expecting to beat when we needed them 3 points. So over the last two games, we managed to, accumulate them points. So I
Yeah.
can't really say anything negative because first of all, I don't want it because I was proud of the performance because I actually enjoyed the football, believe it or not. And I think Odegaard's started to come into his own. I think he really grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck and dictated the play. But it is what it is now, isn't it? Like we just got to just hope and pray that we can just push and just keep getting results because obviously we deserve to be back in the top four for the fans. Obviously, over the years, the team's been playing dog shit. So I wouldn't say the level of performances have deserved top four. But for the fans, we've been out of it 5-6 years now. We need to get back into it, hear that music again, feel relevant because at the moment we don't really feel relevant. And that's it really. Did you manage to catch any of the game or anything like that?
Yeah, I caught little bits of it, kind of on in the background, and then I watched the highlights. But I watched the highlights back a few times. I watched it on Match of the Day, and then I watched it separately, just watching the game. And I think, it's good to see Arsenal getting a bit of consistency. Getting a few. We've been speaking about consistency a few times in the last week. Okay, consistency will be proven if it remains consistent. But these last few games on the bounce has help to maybe shift the mood, help to avoid the January transfer window derailing the season too badly in terms of people's mood, in terms of, how they react to having that thin squad. So credit to Arsenal, credit to the players, the fans, everyone that's helped them to get over the line with that. It is interesting that it was Saka and Smith Rowe again, kind of stepping up, getting in with the goals, taking the lead, and I guess that kind of maybe resonates a little bit with what you were saying about the striker situation in terms of like not wanting to complain and being happy that them lads got out there and got goals, but it again speaking a little bit to the fact that there isn't an out and out striker in that team that's saying anything that gets created, I'm getting my name on the goal on the score sheet. You know what I mean? So be interesting to see how that pans out. But I think I'm ready to put my neck on the line and say I think Arsenal are going to get fourth. I've wanted to say it the last few podcasts, and I've been like wary of saying it. And I know there's a lot of other people in that race that it is straightforward. I think if I have to today put my money on someone, I'm putting my money on Arsenal to take that fourth place. And you know, like you said, it would be good for Arsenal to be back in the competition and, you know, hearing the music again and watching it on a Tuesday night instead of a Thursday night and all of that stuff. Do you know what I mean? So definitely.
Well, I think you're a bit more optimistic than me.
Optimistic.
Because I think once we get down to like the last 5 games of the season, maybe 4, and we're still in and around it, then I'll start thinking, right, okay, now we've got a good solid chance because, like I said, we've just been inconsistent. We've been consistently inconsistent, and that's over many, many years. But having said that, you know, I watched United's game today. You know, they don't really look the greatest. Tottenham have not been the greatest over the last couple of games. You had to beat City, you guys, and they did a good job of that. But they lost 3 games on a trot before that. You know, Chelsea could be dragged right back into that 4th spot. So there is an opportunity. I'm not saying that we can't get it, but because we've just been let down so many times as fans, I'm just saying when we get into that last 5 games to the end of the season, and we're still in and around there, and when I'm saying in and around there, in 4th or 5th, then I'll start kind of thinking, right, okay, we can do that. Do you know what I'm
definitely.
saying?
There's a lot of teams that could be there or thereabouts. So if it's your team, it makes sense to manage your expectations so you're not disappointed. But for me, who's not, you know, obviously my team will be in the Champions League and more. We'll get onto us later, or even after a bad weekend. I'm more just going off just today. Who is my gut feeling like might be able to get over there? Because West Ham, it feels like I've lost momentum a bit. United, I know there's a few United fans that have made it into the comments that are, you know,
it's funny, isn't it?
Feeling good after that win, and you know, good for them to feel good. But I think that things are still a mess over there probably, and I don't think that they'll get that 4th spot. So then Tottenham, I've got a lot of ground to make up. Yes, they had a good game this weekend, but last weekend or whenever it was, they kind of gone on a bit of a run of us thinking maybe these are the same players that were struggling before Conte came in. So I think Arsenal, maybe when you're just looking at it objectively, they might have the best chance of just putting together a steady run and, you know, taking that 4th place. But, you know, I could be wrong.
I like to see Martinelli go up front now. And then if he could start banging some goals up front and we can actually get some, because we have been getting goals from midfield, Smith Rowe, Saka's, you know, Odegaard, the odd goal here or there, Martinelli from the wing. So goals have been coming from midfield, something that we've been lacking for a while. However, Lacazette doesn't score enough goals for me in order for me to believe, top 4 is ours and we're leading that race because, we might have games in hand, but I'd rather have the points on the board than the games in hand in it. And because look, Tottenham had 3 games in hand, they lost all 3 of them. Do you know what I'm saying? So these things can happen. Football's a funny game. Look at Leeds today, Tom. 10-minute spell, piped in 2 goals against United. I thought, that's it. Even put my neck out, post it on Instagram. Bastards. This is what I'm saying. United are jamming, man. They always end up finding a way.
Yeah.
But, go on.
No, I just was gonna say, I think City, it's a different situation with City with Arsenal, but we've had plenty of seasons where City have done well, and the top kind of contributors for goals haven't necessarily been an out and out striker. Do you know what I mean? So I know that the Arsenal situation, it might be different, but you can still make that top 4 and look back at the end of the season and say, right, if we're looking at the strikers, they haven't got that many goals, but actually by the end of the year, guys like Saka, guys like Smith Rowe have hit certain figures that have been enough to get you there. And City have done versions of that before, do you know what I mean? Where we're getting a lot of contributions from a lot of different players, and not all of them are coming from the person that's down the middle in a free up top or whatever, do you know what I mean? So maybe you can do it even with a Lacazette just playing that more humble role of that he has been doing well, of kind of connecting the play and being involved in situations. But I don't know.
You know what it is as well, I hear what you're saying, but we're not Man City in it. We're a team that's far off Man City in it. Man City's development's been going for 10 years plus, and it's been a steady development. There's not really been no hiccups on the journey. Arsenal, our development's been on a deterioration for 10 years plus, 20 years. It's been declining. So with us, the reason why we need a striker, because we're going to have them games where we're going to come up against the Burnley and we can't unlock him. And we're going to need that moment of brilliance. And 9 out of 10, the guy who you should be getting your goals is a striker, because that's what he gets paid for. You have a world-class striker. You look, yeah, we had a Henry, you had a Aguero. You get me? Players like that. Even like when Liverpool had Fernando Torres, you get me? United had Van Nistelrooy. These guys, even Berbatov, they could just pick the ball up, bang, is in the back of the net. Just create something out of nothing. Luis Suarez was another one, great at it. So Lacazette can't give you a full 90 minutes of football. You get me? Don't get me wrong. He does connect the play up well, but we need somebody who can actually do the proper job, do it all, connect the play up, run, give us a full 90 minutes, have that passion and that full on drive as well. So I don't think he's going to be sticking around much longer. And I just want to speak about Granit Xhaka for a second as well, because I don't know if you've seen what he done, but Nketiah came on, yeah. Laka came off, Nketiah came on. He's had the armband, yeah. He's gone to give the armband to Xhaka. He's knocked the armband. You get me? Didn't grab the armband. Then Nketiah's running off and that, looking like a Joey and that with the armband in his hand. He's come back to Xhaka to give him the armband again. He's refusing it. So then obviously he's gone over, put it to Kieran Tierney. Now, to me, if I'm seeing a player do that, yeah, regardless if Kieran Tierney's meant to be the captain or whatnot, don't refuse that. You're a senior player. Grab it. See, that's what pisses me off about Granit Xhaka. That's what makes me think, why the fuck is he inside our team still? He's got no manners. If he does not want to touch that captain's armband, he's not fit enough to put the shirt on. And it vexes me because Arteta, the little prick, comes out afterwards and goes, "Oh, Kieran Tierney was meant to go to Kieran Tierney, but Nketiah didn't hear Xhaka." Now, Nketiah heard him very well, bro. You look at the camera, you see exactly what happened. He's just trying to cover it up because obviously he's a Xhaka fanboy. And this is, bro, I just wanted to touch on it because it's disgraceful. And as an Arsenal fan, bro, I don't want to be seeing him again playing for the team. Because if you ain't got that commitment to what even touched the armband, even though you should never get it after what he'd done in the first place of swearing at the fans and dashing it on the floor anyway, but still, it's the principle of the matter. You hear me?
He's just a constant disaster waiting to happen, isn't he? Like he's too much. He just brings too much drama and too much, risk for what he contributes when he's good or when he's decent. Do you know what I mean? There's been a million different occasions, whether it's red cards, whether it's things like this, whether it's just. I remember, I think it was a few years ago now. There was a goal that City scored against Arsenal, and even the pundits didn't really pick up on it, but there was some move down the right hand side coming down the side of the box, and the guy's kind of gone past Xhaka and he's kind of just given up. And when you watch it back, you think he could have blocked that cross if he'd been killing himself to get back. And I remember just watching that and thinking, what's this guy on? It's like he just has moments where he just goes into ultra selfish mode and he's not really thinking about the team or the game or the players. He's just on whatever he's feeling in that moment, too much emotion. I kind of understand in a way why maybe he feels like he shouldn't have the captain's armband. So in a sense, it's the right thing that he's not really taking it. It's not because of what you were saying. And if someone comes and brings it to you, really, you should be mature enough as a footballer to be able to take it, put it on, and just not get sent off for the next however many minutes. But if he's thinking, it's right, I shouldn't be the captain, I'm not a good leader, every time I've got it on, I flip in, do some madness, give it to someone else I don't want the attention. If that conversation happens behind closed doors, there's nothing wrong with that. Do you know what I mean? But I can see how the optics of him, of the captain, it coming over to him and him saying no, it don't look good. Do you know what I mean? And once you get to that point with a player, is it really worth continuing to invest in him and having a team built around him in that position? You get somebody else in and just
I get it. But look, all I'm saying, like, see this kid is saying now that obviously man can't really say that because I'll be the first one to say I don't want Xhaka wearing it, which I agree. But what my point being is, you're on TV, it's embarrassing the club, bro. That's an embarrassment. Like normally I'm at the game, and when you're at the game, bro, you miss few bits and bobs. When you're watching it from on the telly, bro, you're seeing what's what. Even if he didn't want to wear it, grab it. You're in midfield, which is a lot closer to Kieran Tierney than where Nketiah is playing. Grab it, give it him. You get me? Just make it go smooth. He's putting a show on the TV. You get me? And that's clearly just to state it to the fans, right? I ain't grabbing that because you man don't like me, no. But right, you're playing, you're getting paid by the club. You're still playing. You still got the shirt on. So even though I don't want you to be the captain, just grab the thing, give it to Kieran Tierney. And Nketiah's chasing him down like a dog, bro, saying to him, yo, grab the band. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's some sort of miscommunication going on in the camp because if Kieran Tierney was clearly going to be the captain's second choice, he should have got it straight away. Do you know what I'm saying? You're getting Lacazette had to go off anyway in the same direction where Kieran Tierney would have been standing.
Yeah.
Because obviously the left back's there where near the touchline where the dugout is. So he could have just given it.
Give it? Yeah. And also, even if Nketiah has, even if let's say that Nketiah has misheard, he's not heard the instruction, someone said, oh, it's whatever. That's still damning of how Xhaka dealt with it. And then it's got to ask you, what's going on with Nketiah that he's not, after the first time and after he's seen that Xhaka's kind of rejecting it, he's not had the wherewithals to be able to say, you know what, this is going to look like, this is me chasing after him with the band is making it a bigger thing. Let me either just take it, hold it, or just who's the next person to give it to, just give it someone else and just crack on with the game and it can get dealt with at the next, break, or the manager can get, that's a lot to ask of a young player, but do you know what I mean? There's a few components in this, how Arteta's dealt with it or how the role he's played in it, Xhaka, and then...
So the bottom line is they should just give the band to Kieran Tierney regardless because he stands for everything that a captain is. And 9 out of 10, he's going to be our starting player anyway whenever he's fit most times.
He's not coming
playing the 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It's true. It just makes no sense. How does the manager and the players all not know who the vice captain is? I'm telling you, it was Granit Xhaka was meant to grab that band. He didn't want it, refused it twice. And Nketiah's then obviously passed it over to Tierney, and Arteta afterwards he said what he said about, it was a miscommunication in the camp. But man watched it. Even the commentators were on it as well. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, don't get me wrong. I don't want Xhaka being the captain. I don't want him anywhere really near the club. But my point being is, right, don't be trying to disrespect the thing on telly like that again. Like, how much more? What do you think you are?
I just don't think you should pay him anymore. I mean, maybe I miss what he contributes in a good way, but I just think he's a liability. And
big liability.
Who would you put in there if you were taking him out? Who do you switch him out with?
At the moment, we've only got two people that can go in there, and that's Lokonga and El Neni. This is why we should have went in January and brought a midfielder in like a Bruno Gomes that Newcastle went and got, and that's someone that we've been chasing for fucking time. Would
you take one of those two options over Xhaka in there right now? Or
personally, the way I would have it is I would drop Odegaard in there with Partey. I'll bring Smith Rowe in as the number 10. I'll put Martinelli on the left. And then that way, when Lacazette gets a bit tired around 70 minutes, I'll take him off and give Pepe an opportunity to play as a false number 9.
Where's Saka?
On the right. His place is concrete in it. So
yeah. Okay.
he's on the right. So that's how I would play, because I think Odegaard could do that job in there alongside Partey. I think when he's been in there, he hasn't been alongside Partey, and it's not really looked. He can do it, but he's not looked great. Do you know what I mean? But I think with that supporting base around him and in front of him, I think he'll be all right. And that's a player that knows not going to get sent off.
Abdullah, he said, what's your captain? You're saying Kieran Tierney then, yeah? Is your captain?
Yeah, let me see. I just need to catch up with these. What's your captain? Yeah, Kieran Tierney. From the outside looking in, Tom, who would you, if you was, obviously I know that you don't follow Arsenal a lot, but if you was to look at the team, who would you say is captain material from the outside looking in?
I do think I think someone like a Kieran Tierney, I think some of the things you were saying, sometimes the captain decision, there's some parts of it are just sensible as well. Like, is this player playing, starting each week and playing usually, unless there's an injury or a major shape change or something, is this person usually playing the full 90 minutes? it's long to have a captain, even if they're the right player in other regards. If it's a player that's sometimes not starting or getting subbed off, then you're opening up more opportunities for all of this nonsense where it's like, who's vice captain? Is it properly established where the kind of seniority is on the pitch? And do you know what I mean? So I think Kieran Tierney makes sense. Obviously you could give it to throw it on a young player like a Saka or something. Do you know what I mean?
But it's a good shout.
Ramsdale. True. I always just feel like with goalkeepers, don't want to bring like extra attention or distraction or focus to them. I know that captaincy
He
doesn't
brings
have to
that
be that.
himself too, though,
That's
bro.
what I
You watch him
mean.
at the game, it's a mad thing. Like,
Yeah.
he's actually changed a lot, you know, bro. Like, he's
Yeah.
helped massively with the atmosphere upturn at the Emirates, because he's a player that's really engaging with the fans, and he proper likes to piss off the opposing fans as well. You get me? And to be honest with you, I got to give him
from the
10 out of
captain,
10.
or do you want someone that's just uber focused and just isn't going to get lost
like I said,
in the moment and what they're doing?
I want a Tierney in it, because I think he's very focused, very driven. You know, he's probably won more trophies than everyone in that team put together, just at Celtic at 22. You know what I mean? So I would personally give it Kieran Tierney, because I like what he stands for. Like, people look like, I like that he's humble. Like, see how we brought a Tesco bag down to training and stuff. It just shows you a character of a player in it, like of a person, not even a player, a person. And it shows that man's humble. He's not really asked what anyone else thinks. He'll do his own thing, set his own trend. Like, obviously, he might not be anything flashy, but he's not bothered. And stuff like that, I like to see in a character. I like to see his fight when shit's not going good. He likes to get stuck in. He's not asked. He's always wearing shorts and t-shirt, whatever the weather. Old school mentality. I like that. That's something that I want for Arsenal.
That was well said.
Ramsdale, he's a good shout. I hear what you're saying in the aspect. I don't think he'll be a bad captain either, because I think the relationship that he'll have with the fans, and he has got now, it is good. Players look up to Kieran Tierney as well.
Oh, he's saying, do they look up? I don't know if he might be asking you the question. Did they look up to him? Like, did they look up to him enough for him to be the captain?
Yeah, of course they do, man. Trust me, man. Like, he's well respected, Kieran Tierney. Gabriel, I would say, here's another one, Kevin. Gabriel looks very captain material, commanding at the back, strong.
Yeah.
But like I said, my vote's in for Kieran Tierney. But we're going to move on from Arsenal now, Tom, because we're going to end up being stuck on here for ages, and I'm just going to waffle, because I've not managed to speak about Arsenal for a few days, so I've just started to let it all off my chest, to be honest with you. But we had a good result, so we'll just leave it at that for now, innit?
Yeah, a good weekend for Arsenal. Not as good a weekend for us, to be fair, you know. But it weren't a super like stressful one either. Do you know what I mean? Like, Tottenham are that team for City. They've been that team for us for a while. Do you know what I mean? Where we can be on the maddest run and beating everybody, and then just lose to Tottenham, even sometimes when they're not even doing that well themselves. They're kind of like a bogey team in that regard. Pep said it before the game. And obviously Conte is that level of manager where just on his day, even with players that aren't maybe of the caliber of some of his best teams, he can just put together kind of tactically a system that does it. You lost to Chicken Ball FC. I caught that out the corner of my eye. That's where I lost my that's where I lost my train of thought.
It's because I got a chicken in it on the badge, Tottenham.
Okay. Yeah. I'm forgetting who we're talking about. But yeah, you know, obviously I think Tottenham deserved to win the game. It was a good game. It was entertaining. City still played good football, but there was some stuff that was just a bit out of character. You know, Ruben Diaz didn't look like the normal Ruben Diaz. You know, the game wasn't controlled in the way that City usually control it. But I also feel like it kind of speaks to the calm confidence that is around the club and that's around Pep and that's around the fans, that there's not been a big inquest. There's not a lot, you know, there's no nobody jumping out on a ledge from our side anyway and feeling any less confident than we felt. I can only speak for myself, but what I'm seeing, it seems like people feel the same. I don't feel any less confident today than I did last week that City will still go on and win the league, maybe comfortably. You know, fair play to Liverpool. You know, they've put together a run where they're still in touching distance and they can still make it a race. And maybe I'll be made to eat my words, but I can't see it. I think it was a blip. I don't think it will knock our momentum. I think we'll just continue to run through 9 out of 10 teams kind of in a very effortless way. And I think City will have, because Liverpool got their win this weekend, big win for them. And the win against Burnley, you could say that's a title winning win. You win in the 1-0s when you're not playing that well. And but there's been quite a bit of that from Liverpool, it feels like, this season, to me anyway. A lot of games where it's like we're giving that answer more often. So that's another of those wins that you grind out when you're not quite there or whatever. Drop KDB, bish. It's a hard one.
You can't drop Kevin De Bruyne.
I'll let you jump in.
No. You can never drop Kevin De Bruyne, man, for me. Like, he's not that guy you could just drop. Like, I'll be honest with you, with City, I'm very disappointed in Man City because I really wanted City to beat Tottenham. And I really believe that they would beat Tottenham. That's my honest truth. And when I'm sitting here and I'm watching City losing 1-0, losing 2-1, get a penalty, and then Tottenham score, bro, I'm pulling my hair out as an Arsenal fan watching that, crossing down the TV because I had you as comfortable winners, to be honest with you. And I think he's let it down because if we really wanted to gain ground even more, we needed a City win there, because obviously you know what happened there when we got slapped. But I thought City had the league in the bag going a few games ago, but now it seems like it's opened right up now. Being honest with you, it doesn't really seem like they're running away with it. Liverpool got a game in hand on City, so they win that game. I think they're 3 points behind City. Then they've still got to play City. Yeah. So, and the question I wanted to put forward to you, Tom, as a City fan, because now the pressure is on Pep to win the Champions League. Like, that's undeniable. The City fans want it. He say it comes so close to getting that Champions League and just fell short. But do you think that the focus on the Champions League now this season, coming into the later stages, obviously 1-5-0 Lisbon, do you think the focus on the Champions League is going to have an effect when it comes to the run in the Premier League? Obviously, I know you got the squad to deal with certain situations, but do you think mentally on the players it's going to have a bit of an effect and Liverpool could sneak in there?
Maybe it sounds funny to say this, but I think maybe if you win that game against Tottenham, and like you said, win the game comfortably or whatever, and keep rolling on and keep winning, and Liverpool keep winning, but City keep winning, and the Champions League continues to progress, then maybe I can see that potentially more likely to happen, where City kind of get a false sense of security in the league, start to take the eye up, start to have to prioritize preparation time or players or whatever for Champions League games, and then just aren't that 100% hyper focused on the Prem, and Liverpool just creep it. I think in a way that Tottenham game weren't a bad one to lose for City in terms of timing. If you wanted a game, and this is what Gundogan said after the game as well, you know what I mean? Like, it was a kind of a good reality check for us. I don't know if he said it in this many words, but it was like, to me, I read it as it's a reminder that just because on your day no one can touch you doesn't mean you can turn up and not be on your day. Do you know what I mean? That you can turn up and someone else can beat you because you guys haven't performed to the level that you meant to perform to, or because strategically or tactically or whatever the other team has just set up in a certain way and we've not adapted. But I think that this game will make City players and staff, if they weren't already, look at the table, look at Liverpool and say, this isn't over. Like, we can't afford to not take this serious, because Liverpool could then creep ahead of you in the league, and then all of a sudden, if you go out the Champions League, now the whole dynamic of the season has changed. You know what I mean? And even if you stay in the Champions League, if you suddenly start losing ground in the Premier League, that can almost add more pressure to the Champions League, because now it's seen a little bit as like, right, you really need to win the Champions League this season, and if you're not going to win the league, like, this has to be the year for you to win it. Even if that's already in the air, I think that feels worse if you're not feeling, if you're not in pole position, at least in the title race. So I think that Pep and them will understand that turning up and performing and and being at the very best in the Premier League is part of us setting ourselves up for the best chance to win the Champions League. We've got the squad depth. It's not a situation where we're going to be really having to choose between playing our best player on this day for this game or in this day for this game. It's more a matter of focus and priorities that would allow that to happen. And I don't think that
What about mentally for the players, though? The players mentally, you know, they've won the Premier League a few times. Do you think the players want the Champions League more than they want the Premier League? Or do you think they're professional enough to think, right, we're just going to have to go for both of them on the same playing field? Because a lot of people that have spoke to, it's what I think they have mentioned to me. They're saying, you know what, I think City focusing on the league, on the Champions League, I think it'll cause them a problem and trip them up in the Premier League. And you know what, I couldn't really see it, but now, like, you know, if you asked me 4 or 5 games ago, City were like, what, 12 points clear or something mad like that. So,
yeah, I can't remember if some of that was. I need to look back over at the league table over the kind of past weeks, but I'm wondering whether there was there a point when Liverpool had a few games in hand on us, and
yeah.
we all collectively kind of done that thing a little bit like what people have maybe done with Burnley at the other end of the table, where we're just looking at things as they are now, and we might see the games in hand, but we're not really counting that in that moment when we're looking at someone being 10 points clear or whatever points clear, you know, because I don't feel like City, because this is the first game that City have dropped points in the Premier League for a minute, innit? So, you know, it's not like we've been on a bad run. Without this one weekend of dropping points, Liverpool have won and suddenly it's 3 points. So it's not. I feel like it's a blip. I feel like I said, I think the players and Pep will understand that even if they wanted to prioritize the Champions League, I think they'll understand that taking their eye off the ball in the Premier League and not giving that same level of respect and focus and desire to win will not only make you more likely to lose that title race, but it will also negatively affect your chances of winning the Champions League this year, because they need that momentum and they need to try and keep that feeling of pressure down to the best extent they can. And one of the ways you do that is if you're still winning in all the other competitions, there's still an air and a sense of City are winning everything. They're the best team in the Premier League this year. They're the best team in England. You know, Champions League is the cherry on the cake, as opposed to, City have dropped off. They're now 6 points behind Liverpool going into the run into the end of the year. Yeah, they're still in the Champions League. They got knocked out the FA Cup. Now it's like, then it becomes like you've got to win the Champions League for this season to feel like a success. I don't think the players or the staff, like you said, they've won it enough times and they're experienced enough to know that winning on all fronts is going to help you win on all fronts, I think. So I don't think that they'll allow it mentally to become that. Just quickly to answer, because I know why not sent sorry man, the name is hard to pronounce, but he's mentioned a few times about dropping Kevin De Bruyne. The thing with Kevin De Bruyne is there are certain games where he's really frustrating, because for someone that's like technically one of the most gifted players on the planet with what he can do with the ball, especially in terms of his passing and his distribution, it's bizarre sometimes when you watch him having a bad day and it feels like almost nothing is working. Like even like you'll start playing in corners that are like sloppy and not, you know, getting beaten at the front man, or, you know, he'll be like, he starts doing stuff that is below par for anyone on your team, never mind below par for him. He can have really bad games sometimes, Kevin, you know what I mean? But when he's when he's even in third gear of at his best, never mind when he's at his best, and that's a lot of the time, he's unplayable, and the City are unplayable. So it is a tough one in terms of dropping him. I don't think it ever has to be a dropping thing with City. I think they can rotate. I think no one's immune to rotation, and I think if they wanted to rotate and bring De Bruyne out for a game or not start him for a game, that's not impossible. You know, they've done that before. But I don't know whether I feel like De Bruyne's in such a bad place that we need to like drop him out altogether and start building a team without him. Like, I think he's just had, you know, a bad game. He has bad games, that happens, and we need to try.
For me, De Bruyne is the best midfielder in the league by a country mile, and you can't drop him. You just can't drop him. That's just my honest opinion, because the guy, what he like. I'll be honest, I don't watch every City game, but when I watch City play, this guy's unplayable. So That can't be a coincidence, you know what I mean, bro?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't ever drop him out my team. Obviously, maybe I'm not watching City enough to see that he's on a bit of a fuckery. But every time I watch Kevin De Bruyne, he's different class to probably everyone on the pitch, to be honest with you. And you got to think, when you're looking different class in a team that's got class everywhere, it just shows in it, bro. Like, it actually shows that Bernardo Silva, I think, stepped up this season. But where do you think it went wrong then against Spurs? Because I thought Harry Kane, wow.
I think there was a few things going on. Yeah, I think
played very well.
I think the Harry Kane situation, the whole situation with Harry
motivated
Kane,
him.
I think it probably motivated all of them to be, if I'm being totally real, in different ways. Do you know what I mean? And the fans, and you know, probably the only person that didn't motivate was probably Conte, but he has his own motivations. Do you know what I mean? But Kane definitely, and I think other players around him would have really felt like they was out to be on the right side of that conversation coming out off the back of this game. Do you know what I mean? If City go and batter Tottenham, then the conversation is, you can see why Kane so desperate to leave Tottenham and go over there, and why would he stay there, and you know, X, Y, Z. Or even there's the conversation of, does City really want this guy? Is he really the real deal? Because he's not looked that great at all times this season. But for him and guys like Son around him to react and say, yo, on my day, even here at Tottenham, we can come over here and beat you on your own ground. That speaks to the level of player he is, and the level of player that people like Son are. And probably they did have that extra battery in the back. And sometimes it's hard to just generate that as a manager or as a player if the situation isn't already on your side to feel that way. Do you know what I mean? They might have turned up with kind of more personal reasons for really wanting to get in their bag. Do you know what I mean?
Being a United fan, I agree with Premsy. Kevin De Bruyne is the best midfielder. A United fan saying that, T. Hey, you know what I mean? But do you know what it is as well, Tom? I just think maybe Antonio Conte might have Pep's number, because that's home and away now, isn't it? That's twice now he's done that to him. Once with Chelsea and now with Spurs. So some managers, I think they can have a tactical advantage over another manager, depending on how they've studied him and stuff like that. And I think, when you're an elite manager like Conte, elite manager like Pep, obviously there's not really much in it. And I think in that game you're seeing with how it panned out, I was just very surprised with Tottenham, because they've been dog shit. They've been absolutely dog shit for a good while now. So, and I'm expecting City, every time I see City, they're looking like absolute machines, killers, you know what I mean? Executing, man, when they're playing them, not giving them a breath. And when I was watching the game, I was thinking, wow, okay, City couldn't really break them down at all. You couldn't really see how City was going to get that goal. Like, apart from they got the penalty to make it 2-2, but if they didn't get that penalty, I couldn't really see City really getting back into the game. Too tough. I'll be honest with you, it looked like he had his number.
Yeah, I think so, maybe. And, you're seeing at points in the game, before the game, after the game, like, they've clearly got a good relationship. There's clearly a lot of respect there. And it seemed like there's a mutual respect of, I'm sure Conte knows who Pep is and holds Pep in the regard that Pep's meant to be held in. And I think Pep holds Conte in a similarly high regard, and partly because he knows this is a guy that consistently has beaten me. Even if over the course of that season, or over the course of many seasons, I might have beaten him in terms of achievements, in terms of titles or whatever, when it's come to head, this guy can beat me consistently. So I think that maybe creates that mutual kind of respect between them, of like, we can both acknowledge the other one's greatness, do you know what I mean? Without it necessarily having to be a clash of egos in terms of one thinking that they're better than the other. Like, I don't know if Conte believes he's a better manager than Pep Guardiola, but I think he will.
I don't think he believes that.
I think he'll take pride in knowing that I've not only am I a real serious guy in this, but when it comes to our head-to-heads, I can get you, and I get you quite a lot. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got, my system is a good antidote to your system. Do you know what I mean? Over the course of the season, the Pep system comes out on top. But yeah, for like fighting styles make fights kind of thing, 100%. I was going to say, you wanted to
touching on fighting. You see a Maker get absolutely battered.
I didn't even watch the fight, bro, to be honest with you.
You know what? I'll be honest with you, Tom. I was disappointed, because obviously I've met Amir Khan, and I wanted him to win the fight,
Mm.
because I followed his career. Obviously, man's been a boxer,
Mm-hmm.
man's boxed and followed everything to do with
Yeah.
boxing. So I wanted Amir Khan to win. I thought one thing Johnny Nelson said, and I think he hit the hammer on the nail. He said, I heard him say, if you would have asked me 10 years ago who would have won the fight, I would have said Khan, hands down. If you would have asked me 5 years ago, I would have said Brook, hands down. Before the fight, these were I'm saying, it felt very neutral, level playing field. And that's how I felt. I couldn't really pick a winner. Even though I wanted Khan to win, I couldn't really pick a winner. And I thought maybe him going, training, sparring with Terence Crawford, Bomac being in and around the camp and pushing him, I thought that would help. But it looks like them man absolutely battered him in training, and sent him out with nothing left in his sack, bro, because he got absolutely pummeled, battered. Cal Brook, big up to Cal Brook, man. My man, he came, put the work in. But I must say, Cal Brook can't really go on now and think he can get back in there and mix it up with the best, because he'll end up getting his eye sockets caved back in, because he done good to beat Amir Khan, but he still wasn't the Cal Brook of 5 years ago, 3 years ago even. You know what I mean? So it'll be dangerous for him to carry on.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine at this point in his career, or at this point in their career, some of these fights that you're taking, it's either because it's like another big bag that's going to help you set up for the time that you're not fighting, but also because you might have certain personal beefs over the years that you've wanted to get out. And this seems like one of them. Do you know what I mean? These men have not liked each other for a while. Cal Brook feels like, I heard him saying that, in some of the pre-talk stuff, like, I feel like my man's never given me the due respect. Do you know what I mean? Tried to act like he didn't know who I was when we've been in and around each other. He's tried to kind of little bro me in better situations, even though, I've been here and I've been about, and I've wanted, and he's wanted this fight. So I think that's got to make it a worse L when you get beaten convincingly and there's like smoke between you both, and you're the one that's kind of been, so to speak, giving it the big one over the years and making it out as if the other person's irrelevant or insignificant, and now they've
but you know what it is though, Tom? I'll be honest with you, for most part of his career, he has been irrelevant, because with Amir Khan, bro, like this is what I'm trying to say. Most people just get onto boxing from now, bro. Man, you know me, innit? So you got to think about it. This guy, for British boxing, what he done was unbelievable. He won the silver medal. And as soon as after the Prescott defeat, he thought, right, okay, I need to really switch on now. He went to Pacquiao's camp, with Freddie Roach. And that was a very, very shrewd move. And it took balls to do that. This guy's been in there with the best of the best in the division, bro. You get me? And at them times when he was there and he was doing America, Cal Brook really didn't have a platform. So the way he was probably seeing it is, why am I going to fight Cal Brook when that fight will always be there? Because it's a domestic fight anyway. The domestic people will want to see it. So I think it's just come to that time now where it's all about money, bro. With Amir Khan, it's all about money still. He's only took this fight because he probably knows it's his last fight. He probably put a rematch clause in it to say, right, if it goes 12 rounds and it's a tear-up, split decision, we can make a rematch and get another payday. You get me? Yeah. But it didn't work out. He got his ass handed to him, and that's it. Curtains, night. You get me?
Yeah. You got to know, in this life, you got to know who you was in one moment in your life.
He was a good boxer, man.
Yeah, but you got to know who you was then. You got to know who you are today. That's always a thing in life. Do you know what I mean? Don't let who you was 10 years ago dictate the decision you're making today, for good or for bad. So if he's really allowed his ego to get to that place where it's like, I'm still carrying the energy of who I was back then, surely knowing somewhere deep down, I'm off. I couldn't touch the version of myself back then. I would get smoked. Then you need to, if Khan comes up against young prime Khan today, it's a problem. So you shouldn't be walking around with that confidence of I was that guy, because you're not that guy today. And he must have known that. He must have seen that in the gym. It's not like he's going to be in the gym feeling like, yo, I'm as sharp and as fit and as strong as ever. You must know he's not. He's off the pace. So then you got to carry yourself accordingly. I understand that the talk sells fights, and I understand that he feels like my man's not giving him no respect, and he probably didn't like my man neither. But I think it's a bad loss when you set yourself up that way, and it's
Big up, Joey, tuning in for the first time, man. Big up. Make sure you tune in and you like the thing. Back the team, support the team.
Yeah.
But Go on.
I was gonna say, if it's your first time tuning in, we're not always speaking boxing on Premier League Unpacked. That was just
Yeah,
it was too topical.
we're gonna move on to a different kind of boxing now and Everton. Because these men are looking like these are gonna get relegated, fam. These are like 22 points, same as Newcastle. Swear down, 4 points from relegation zone. And doesn't look like it's getting any better. What's this Foden's boxing match? I have to quickly throw this one in. Did you see that clip of Phil Foden and that? And some guys must have went to try to attack Phil Foden, that man, and his I think I don't know, some lady that was really throwing some swings and that. It's a bit of a mad thing, bro. Still, but this is what happens when you go to boxing, innit? Everybody thinks they're the Canelo afterwards, innit?
When was this? When was the fight again? The fight was
last night, innit?
So it was after
Saturday.
the City game. So I can't blame that one. I can't blame City's loss on Foden getting into a fight.
I think it was anyway. Don't mark me on that. But I'm guessing that's where it was, isn't it? Because obviously with all the heights, I just seen a little clip off the thing, but I'm guessing that is. But yeah, Tom. So go on, Everton. Frank
It's not looking good. I was gonna say it's not looking good for my credibility, is it? Because I was giving him the big one just a few weeks ago. In fairness, I did say then that he might find himself in a relegation fight this season, and for him to be able to have the opportunity to build something next summer and then have a full season of being a manager and try and see what you can do, he has to make sure it don't go super sideways this season and Everton don't end up suddenly getting sucked in and getting relegated, because then that's not only is that then your opportunity down the drain, but your name and your credibility as a manager, it's in a different conversation if that happens, especially considering when he came in, we weren't necessarily thinking Everton would go down. Do you know what I mean? They weren't doing great, but we weren't necessarily thinking it would go down. Now, like you say, they're in that fight. I said to you earlier today, like my two takes, or my two kind of putting like my predictions on the line for the season this week were, I think Arsenal are going to make the top 4, and I think Burnley might beat the drop. I don't know why. That game this weekend just made me look at Sean Dyche and look at them and think they might just be in their own little bubble where they're not really watching what no one else is saying or no one else is expecting, and they just feel like, they've got that new guy in. I don't remember who it was last week that was mentioning my man and saying Arsenal should have got him.
Cornet. Oh, Warghurst, that striker guy, that big 7 foot.
Someone was in the comments last week saying it, and fair play. My man looks like a valuable addition. I could see them getting out of that. So then all of a sudden, that's they could get out of it. Newcastle look like they're going to have too much momentum now, pull back in. So Everton, all of a sudden, you're really, really, really in that mix. Do you know what I mean? I don't want them to go down. I don't think they will go down. But what do you think? To be
fair, I touched on it last time. I said I think Burnley would probably get out of it last time. Do you remember? Because I said Sean Dyche is that kind of guy where they've been in the league for years and they've always managed to just stay up and dig it out. And I think that they know how to do it. They've got the experience how to do it. And I think that might just have a little bit of a cutting edge on the rest of the teams. But having said that, they're in a bad position. Obviously, they've got games in hand. They have won 3-0, but it's just going to be hard, and it's going to be a dogfight down there, man. And now Everton's in there as well. It is going to be quite a bit of a dogfight. I think did Watford win as well? Watford won, didn't they?
Watford did win. Watford beat. God, you've made me draw a blank now. I'm getting distracted.
Watford. Aston Villa, I think they beat it. Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah.
And it's a good job that man put that little ticker at the bottom there with all the results on, because you end up forgetting.
I'm flicking through the tabs.
Do you know what I mean?
I can hear a noise beeping in my hallway. I know we're on the 50.
Go sort it out. Go knock it off.
Go sort it out, and I'm gonna be back.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a look at some of these comments anyway, and have a read through some of these comments. Let's have a look. What's going on here? Yeah, we've got Southampton are in a bit of form at the moment, people. Ralph Hasselhout, or maybe that's how you pronounce his name. I never can say his name right, but Southampton look like they're playing good football. I think James Ward-Prowse, I think he's a very, very underrated footballer, because that guy, first of all, free kicks, unbelievable. I think he can, integrate with the midfield well, defense to attack. And I think all round, he's an all-round midfielder. I think Southampton, they've got the tails up at the moment, playing some good football, decisive football, and that could be a good shout for Southampton to maybe push for Europe, possibly Europa League spot, something like that. Let's have a look here. Go with a 4-2-3-1 with Saka, ESR, Pepe, and Martinelli up front. 4-3-2-1 with Saka, ESR, Pepe, and Martinelli up front. I suppose so. What's this here? Xhaka 2-year extension coming. Yo, it won't put it past me, people. It actually wouldn't put it past me if Xhaka gets the next 2 year. This is what Arteta's on for some reason. My man loves this youth. Oh, what's going on there?
Sorry about that, bro. Beeping in the hallway, and then it woke up my daughter. So
yeah. Oh, it's
back,
live. Everything good.
Yeah, everything's live. My missus just got sorted. So.
But
you got pulled back to Xhaka. You can't get away from him, man. Xhaka 2-year extension. I feel if that happens, Arteta's getting percentage deals on my man's contract or something because.
Nah, he's just, you know what, this is it with Arteta. He makes some fucking stupid decisions, man. This is what pisses me off with this guy, man. Boils my blood all the time. Like, how much more does this guy got to do for him just to be sat out, bro? Like, Aubameyang, everybody who's come across Arteta, bro, has been shipped out of the club. This guy could do anything, yeah, and he's back in. It just doesn't make no sense. I think he must have had a little spar with him. Yeah, packed Arteta in, and Arteta don't want the smoke. Trust me, something like that's gone on because it just doesn't make no sense. But just moving on to United, Tom, because obviously I don't want to keep you too long now because we're near the hour mark. But do you think that they've got enough to really get that fourth spot? Because they're there up in there now. You know, Pogba's back. They've looked a better team. That Pogba's back in. Realistically, they have looked better. You know, Ralph Rangnick bringing on 2 substitutions today. Both of them scored. Both of them got goals. You get me? Which made him get the 3 points. Do you think that he's starting to settle in now and you're starting to see a little bit of a better United under Ralph? Obviously, they've had a few draws.
I gotta speak to what I feel and then hope that I don't just sound like I'm just like hating or being biased against United, because it's not that. Like, I'm not, you know, if I felt like United was in a good place, I'd say it. Do you know what I mean? But I do feel like. So I think when I was up in Manchester the other day, you know, we was with a few United fans. Shout out Kish, shout out Deep, and that they was giving me, you know, a bit of the perspective of someone that's watching them week in, week out, and they were saying that they feel like they can see some positive changes under, you know, the new manager. Sancho does seem to be getting back towards the quality and caliber of player that we knew he was, that had suddenly disappeared, you know, while he was wasting away on the bench. And, you know, like you say, there looks like there's some tactical decisions and some, even if the results haven't been there, there's some stuff that United fans have been holding on to for hope. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
you know, so that was a good win. I feel like they've had a bad run. And I just don't, I can't see them now putting together the type of run that would be needed to be able to take that top 4 spot. Big up my bro Rio in the comments. Love that. Appreciate it for locking in, fam.
Get it back on.
Love. So I don't think United will do it this season. I don't think that means that it's like they can't, you know, put something together over summer and then come back and compete next year. I just think there's been a bit too much chaos going on over there this year for them to put together the type of consistency that would be needed to come out in that 4th spot with so many other teams, you know, positioning to try and take that to try and take that 4th spot. So I don't think it will be enough. It was a big win today. I just don't think it's going to be.
Did you see the weather? Yo, it was a madness, bro. The weather was a madness. That it was proper waterlogged. And Leeds scored like 2 goals in 10 minutes. Yeah, and I thought, oh, this is it now. I was buzzing thinking,
I heard you was giving it the big one.
Yo, bro, I was giving it the big on Instagram. I had Kish ring me after saying, yo, what was that, mate? You need to delete that. I said, no, what's done's done now. You get me? It's on there now. You get me, man. Whatever I do, it sticks with it. But
big derby game, that United Leeds. You know what I mean? That's the other thing you got to remember. And that's not
the fight was there.
It's not a big win. That's the fight was there. But can you? Sometimes that can be. It can give you a false perspective on where things are up to when you watch a derby game. Like there was years when City was whack, but then we'd go into a game with United and we'd manage to just kind of get that energy going and get the spirit going and come away with a win. And on that day, you're feeling positive and on a high about everything. But whether that is enough to say that all the last however many weeks of poor performances against poor teams are suddenly like out the window and they're going to start, going on a run.
Obviously, you've had to give Ralph a little bit of time, innit? Because you got to think about it. He hasn't been in for so long. And, I think there is being a little bit of change what I could see, because I'd see if Ronaldo got subbed before, he'd throw his toys out the pram and start bitching about it. And that today, when he got subbed, you're seeing he was all right. He was contemplating, am I getting subbed? Like he was ready to come off straight away, ran off, got subbed off. You know what I mean? And to be fair, that just shows you that stuff is developing slightly a bit at United, because you know what Ronaldo's like. He's a player with millions and millions of followers on Instagram, and all he's got to do is post a picture and it's a mad thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So in order for him to be willing to come off, that means there must be something that is slowly building there and some signs of improvement that Ralph is putting into the club. So, because I have had a chat with a few different United fans, and a lot of them can see some positive signs. Obviously, there's others that can't really see positive signs and just wait until it gets to the end of the season, and then they can hopefully push Ralph up top and then get a manager in. But personally, I don't know who they're going to get in. Maybe they'll probably go for a Pochettino who'll get sacked at PSG, and then they'll go in for a Pochettino or something like that. But I'd still think they're favourites for the fourth spot. Having Ronaldo, and obviously I know he's not a greater player than he once was, but he does give you them. See that little back heel that he gave the other day as well, and little things like that you could pull out of the bag. I think he does give you that, and I think it could help United just clinch the fourth spot. Trust me, I think they got big players. You don't have
confidence in Arsenal to be able to win those games in hand, because technically, if you won your games in hand, obviously Arsenal are in the fourth spot today.
Do you know what it is, Tom? I never back against my team in it, because I support my team and I love my team. But I try to be realistic with it. And realistically, the way I think about it is we're an injury away, we're a COVID breakout away, we're a red card away in a critical position. In order for us to bring in a player or players that are not good enough quality to nowhere near get us that fourth spot. The players that we got now are just about all right quality to challenge in and around there. But again, we're doing it without a striker in certain aspects. So I can't, like I said, it's 5 games to go, Tom. You get me? And with there and abouts, I can say, okay now. Not that is me not believing in my team. It's just seeing facts in it and thinking, right, okay, not getting carried away, because there's been many years where I thought, yeah, sweet, we'll make it. Because you got to think, Tom, I'm not happy just getting top 4. I want to see us winning shit. And it's become so low, that I'm just willing to, this season, I'd be happy this season if we got 4th, because we've not seen Champions League for so long. And that shouldn't be the case, because man gets vexed because we haven't won the league in so long. But this is where it's come to, you get me? And that's because the belief's been knocked, if that makes sense. That's why it's not that I'm backing against my team. It's just, I'm just looking at it from the bigger picture and see United have a better squad than us, and that's facts. They've got a better squad than us. Yeah, they might not be having the better results and stuff in certain aspects, but I just think that they've got that little bit more than what we've got, and that's why I see them as the favourites for the 4th spot.
All right, I've got 2 quick questions for you, because I can see one of the couple of people talking about Elanga in the comments. I like Elanga. One of them said Elanga reminds me of young Welbs. Big up Welbeck, man. Obviously, Welbeck went to high school with, man. You know what I mean? That's one United player that I'll always have good things to say about. So big up Welbs every time. But yeah, Elanga does look like a good player. 2 questions for you on Elanga and on Ronaldo is one question. You'll probably know where I'm going with that. And 2, I'll ask you a second question afterwards. It's about United fans and Arsenal fans. So the first one, Elanga, Ronaldo, you tried to put me onto this clip. Do you want to tell the people what you put me on? So you might as well tell the people
what Ronaldo spitting on Elanga. Is that
Yeah,
what you're
you
talking
showed me
about?
this clip saying that Ronaldo spat on Elanga. It's not like
Bro, it is facts in
but
it.
then the
I
more I
seen
watched
what
it, the
I
more it
seen.
looked like it looked like it
Yeah,
happened. What are the man them in the comments thinking? Like, has anyone seen it? Did they think that that's what happened? And if that is what's happened, like,
nah, he spat him. We got here
what do
saying,
you
nah, he
think?
didn't. You get me? But I don't know what
Let's
you
see the
saw,
clip.
but
Go
I've
on,
had
bro.
my eyes lasered. You get me? And I'm telling you now, yeah, he
I
looked
can
like
see the spit
he looked
straight
like
off
he
his back.
spat on him. Yeah, but that's what it looked like. I'm not saying that's what he is
Pull up the
intentional.
clip.
That's what he did, but that's what it just looked like. You know what I mean?
They
So
want us to pull up the clip. I don't know
no,
if
I
we're gonna get
can't.
done for copyright.
We'll get slapped
We'll
up for
figure
copyright.
we'll look into the legals around being able to pull up clips, and then we'll get back to you with that. But yeah, if you Google do your Googles and Google Ronaldo spits on Elanga, there's some footage there. But so I don't know whether you've said that you do think that was obviously
Yeah,
that. The other question I was gonna ask you was who
arrogance.
do you think should be more feeling more negative right now? Arsenal fans or United fans? You've told me that you think United will get the 4th place, but then
I,
United have also spent however many hundreds of millions and had a different
yeah,
expectation from Arsenal at the season. So even
this
with you
is
saying
this
that you
is
think United will win it, who do you think should be feeling more shit about their team right now? Arsenal fans or United fans?
obviously. I think obviously it's a bit of a sticky question because I don't really like looking at other teams and I like the best for my team. But if I was a
Mm,
neutral stepping away from it and I was to look at it from a different perspective, I would say United's expectations was to challenge for the league this season, spending the money,
mm,
bringing in Ronaldo, bringing in Sancho, bringing in Varane, you know, and they've fallen well short of that. You get me? Where Arsenal,
mm,
if I was a neutral fan, I wouldn't expect them to be anywhere near top 4. I tell you now for a fact, I
mm,
wouldn't expect Arsenal to be anywhere near top 4, and for
mm,
Arsenal to be in and around top 4. Obviously,
but
you can
not
see
to be.
the fans are like a lot of fans are excited about that. Obviously, top 4 is just standard. We should be definitely challenging for the title. That's where we need to be as a club. But because we've been getting kicks in the dick for so long, bro, for 5 years, yeah, the
Mm,
fans are just seeing some sort of hope in it. A little bit of head above water. But obviously, United got to be a lot more disappointed in it, Tom, because they spent the money to bring that success over the years. And if I was a United fan, finishing second and then sitting about 7th and 8th and that, and then coming up and down, I wouldn't be happy with that. I think the signing of Ronaldo has ruined him in a sense,
mm,
because of everything looks like it has to go through Ronaldo. You get me? Even I seen in the last game, I can't remember who they played before. They played, but anyway, he done like a little back heel to Sancho, and Sancho missed. You get me? And he looked pissed off about it. So I think his ego in that team hasn't helped United
mm,
at all.
mm-hmm,
But they should definitely be disappointed, United fans. Definitely be disappointed. Arsenal fans should be disappointed as well. Don't get it twisted, because we're not getting
mm,
top 4 is nothing to be celebrating, really. Top 4,
mm,
do you know what I mean? We sacked Wenger for getting top 4, bro. We need to be winning trophies. And
mm,
when I mean trophies, I mean in Premier Leagues. I know City and
mm,
Liverpool are there right now, but we need to
mm.
be definitely competing, bro, because there
Yeah.
should be no reason we spent nearly 500 million in the last 5 years, bro. Something's not
Mm,
right. The club's not getting run. But United, just going off their goal this season, which was to win the league, our owners and our people that run our club, they didn't even give us a goal, bro. That's how shit
yeah.
we were.
Yeah.
Get me? What about you? A quick one,
Who
just
do I
fire
think
it
should
back
do it?
at you. Yeah.
I mean,
Obviously,
I
that's
can
without unbiased as well, Tom. With an unbiased, that's
yeah.
without
I
trying
mean,
to
the
just hate
United
United.
fans seem like they're feeling pretty positive about things. I can see some of them on them in the comments. I can see Grade is coming with the biased red energy, but a few Jeff as well. I think a few people seem like they feel quite confident. So maybe who am I to say that they should feel badly about where they're at? But I think maybe at United, your concern is that your concern at United is the same opposite concern what Arsenal have. So for United, the concern is that we have to change manager mid-season. Like that's not usually going to be symptomatic of a team that's in a good place. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of how the rest of the season goes, regardless of if they manage to clinch 4th, unless they do something kind of miracle, like with someone saying that they might win the Champions League in the comments and all of that kind of talk, then obviously maybe they could turn around and feel like they've had a good season. But if they just scrape the top four, I think, you're having your manager, losing your manager, drama around the club, players that have come in, big egos, money spent that's now tied up in players whose value might have dropped and stuff. Like, there's a lot of things for United fans to be concerned about. I feel like with Arsenal fans, things have been bad, and in a way, things seem like they might be on the up a little bit. And you still have the opportunity to get rid of your manager at some point, but maybe not in the middle of the season, and not in a way where it seems like it just was so unplanned. Do you know what I mean? So, Grade saying he's got the same concerns for real. So I think for United, obviously they need to get that top four spot so they can regroup in the summer. But Arsenal, it's kind of the same feeling. Do you know what I mean? If Arsenal can get that top four spot, I said last week, I think Arsenal, if they can get that top four spot, should then sack Arteta even more so at that point, and get someone in who can just keep that momentum and say, right, let's try push and concrete
Never
this
do
and
that.
secure this next season. But obviously they won't do it. Do you know what I mean?
Trust me, they ain't got to. Trust me, these man that are running our club are thick as fuck, Tom. They're absolutely thick as fuck. And it, like, do you know what the maddest thing is? The whole league can see it. The whole league knows it. Every other team can see that Arsenal are nowhere near the Arsenal they were of years ago. And these men have not been implementing shit to make that change. All they've been doing is just trying to patch over shit for so long. It's just become a disaster now, bro. And now we've been out the Champions League for 5-6 years, and bro, we weren't even in the Europa League last season. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, this is
but does that not mean as United? But is that not a reason why, as an Arsenal fan, being kind of, maybe you could say, in pole position to get fourth? It depends on how you look at the games in hand. It depends how you look at recent form. To be in that position after having had such a bad few years, as opposed to United, who really felt like they were going somewhere, really felt good at the start of the year about Ollie and the team and Ronaldo, and now are having to kind of reset their expectations and find new people and new things to be excited about and feel positive about. That's a lot. Do you know what I mean? That might be more reason to feel concerned. Man United and Arsenal have both become brothers from another mother, no ambition, just top fours. Well, they've both brothers from another mother as well, in the sense that they both got American owners that are, are part of a same mentality, probably a same walk of life, similar boys, old white American men's club. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're on that same type of energy, and I don't think it's a coincidence that some of the systemic problems at both clubs, we're seeing them in both places. You know what I mean? Where money's getting spent, but also the investment, the proper investment in terms of like time and energy and interest don't seem to be there in the same way it is with the Abu Dhabi group at City or who it should be. Man, you mentioned the point, Ollie.
You know what I mean? I think on that one, we'll leave it on that one. But Tom, bless for coming on. Great show. Obviously, we're gonna be back next week. Hopefully, same time, 9 o'clock. But everyone who's tuned in, everyone that's contributed to the comments, everyone that's liked, and people that are watching later, big up, most appreciated. And make sure you're liking, subscribing, sharing, and also checking Tom out on his Instagram as well, which is linked below. You want to say something, Tom, before we go?
No, I just was gonna say, again, thanks for people for checking in, and being active in the comments. I know we've been thinking about maybe doing, an episode soon where we maybe change up the format a little bit, and maybe focus on players a bit more. Maybe look at, putting together a Premier League 11 of players today who we'd put in each position, or something of that kind of, a different kind of format, as opposed to kind of talking on the games from that weekend. Let us know what you guys think about that, whether that's something you'd like to see, or whether you've got any other ideas, anything else that you want to see us talk about. Let us know. But we appreciate you being here and being here for the journey, innit? And we'll be back again next week with more Premier League Unpacked.
Peace out, people.
Love.